every nature.
My question is, when should a girl child be left unprotected, you know, for our own self-assessment, how to move in our own life? When should a girl child be left unprotected? Do you understand? To have our own assessment of our own life. At
Okay.
what time? At what
Now
age?
I'll answer that, and I'll tell you once you realize she's matured enough to face the society.
Okay.
Now it's not by age. You could have a girl child who is 15 and is ready to face the society, ready to be totally independent, ready to travel out. Some is the level of maturity you put into her that would make you determine as a parent, should I let her go or should I still let her be with me? Now, it has nothing to do with the biological age. It has to do with the level of maturity she has attained. So once she attains that level of maturity and you're convinced that if you let her go, whatever happens, she can handle it. Now, the reason why you see that some people will say, I can't send my child to a boarding school is because they know that that child cannot face the society in the boarding environment. But there are some kids that you send there at JS1 and they are coming back and they are so matured. So it has to do with maturity. Now, it brings you to studying. You have to study your girl child every moment. The moment she starts seeing her menstrual cycle, you need to study her level of hygiene. How hygienic is she? How does she take care of her personal things? How does she protect her space? You know, when we're growing up, we used to have this space to ourselves, you tidy it, you clean it. So all those things helps you to understand, okay, fine, I think now she can face the society. Because mind you, the society she's facing is a toxic one that is not willing to be patient the way you are patient enough to train her. So you need to teach her that, come on, as you're facing this society, patience is key. So whatever she faces out there, she'll understand that, okay. And you know, there are some kids that some girls, they actually don't want to talk to their mom, but they want to talk to their dad. They make their dad their best friend, and then so there's always that soft spot between the daughter and the father. And then you hear the mothers complaining. It's because such fathers have given everything to bring out the best in that girl child. So when you sense that stage of maturity in that girl, then you can now sit down and say, okay, fine, I'll give you the first trial. Now you don't just push her off because you want her to assess life. You push gradually with monitoring. So you push the first step, you monitor, you understand what's the feedback, you check her level of friends. You know, a girl's maturity determines the amount of friends she surrounds herself with. So you now understand, okay, she's matured enough to handle friends, and then you let her go. So gradually until finally you can say, okay, now have your space and go, like some of us did quite early. And you know, because parents discovered that, okay, you can go. There are some girl children that they are 30 and their parents will still be monitoring them because they feel like you're not mentally strong to face the society out there. So it has to do with the level of maturity that
our parents know us well.
They do. They do. They know their kids very well. And you know, when it comes to the girl child, it's so sensitive because everything that affects the girl child affects the society. If she has an unwanted pregnancy, it affects the father, it affects the mother. If she's doing you proud, it affects you. Because she's going to be an auntie, an uncle to someone, and you don't want a toxic person to be a wife to someone. What we are having a whole lot of child trauma, and you see girls, and the reason why there is the uproar for raising the girl child is because of what the girl child has suffered in the past. There was a whole lot of harm that was done to the girl child over years that there was silence. Nobody was talking about it. The men were domineering until they started realizing that, hey, we are doing more harm to the society because once the girl child is not mentally strong to be out there, it affects the home front. You're not going to have the best out of her as a wife, even if she gives. And why are we advocating for early child marriage? Because we know they are not strong enough to be mothers. And the society, as funnily enough, what we are having in society is as a result of women not being properly raised. And you have babies giving birth to babies. Babies becoming baby mamas. So and now that's to tell you the level at which we are going. So if you do not guard your girl child, if you do not train her right, imagine the generation ahead. What's going to happen?
What's going to happen?
What's going to happen, you know?
Talking about society, my next question is, tell me the value a girl child brings to the society.
A whole lot. A whole lot. Now, I'll start by telling you that one of the values you would always appreciate the girl child for is that the girl child is an empathetic being the girl child has this sense of humor. The girl child is very sensitive. What the man would not realize, the girl child will realize early enough. And so she can sit and foresee what is going to happen in the society and start fighting against it. And that's why we're advocating for more girls to be trained so that they could be in powers and in position. I'll give you this one. When you talk about a girl child being empathetic, it simply means that once there is an issue, she's diplomatically handling it.
Beautiful.
She doesn't come to the society with, she sits down and calculates, like a mother will always sit down and do check and balance before bringing whatever it is to the father.
Yes.
That is what the girl child does. And once she's properly trained, you discover that the work of the man is reduced in the society. Now, ask me how. Now, this is it. If you have a girl child who is properly trained, she knows that she doesn't need to stress the man. So she has a husband that comes back home. She knows how to attend to that man. That's because she's properly trained. So this value she's adding to the society is also reflecting in the family front. It's also reflecting to the mothers in the villages. It's also reflecting to the fathers that are in the villages. So the value increases. Now, the more girl child you have trained that have value, the more the society gets lesser. Now, this is it. When a male child misbehaves, they run to the mother. The father will call the mother. That's your son. Go and talk to your son. Why do you think men do that? Because they believe that women have the power of words. There is how your mother will talk to you and you start shedding tears instantly.
Without touching you.
She has not beaten you because she comes with this soft emotional point to you. She comes with, she starts giving you history that will remind you where you're coming from. It's not like the men that will come with full force. Start, so by the time she's done with you, you're naturally crying. And you're already feeling empathetic, so they have that empathetic nature in them and very sensitive to environment. What your mother will sit down and see, you would not see it, and she will warn you. And then let's not forget the fact that when it comes to general society, they are always forefronts. They are the first to be there. They want the best for their child. They want the best for their husbands. So the value of a girl child being properly raised cannot be underrated.
So this is going to be my last question.
Okay.
Training a boy child and a girl child, which is more difficult?
So the saying that girls love money.
Okay.
Is it part of their upbringing?
I'm going to answer I would answer the both questions, but let's start with what Princess asked. Now, it's more difficult to train the girl child, and the reason being that her physical physique is different from that of the man.
Can you see?
Okay.
Now, this is it. What men exhibit mostly, or when they grow up, is stubbornness. The fact that they are too playful. But you see, I used to say something that for me, I will advocate training the boy child more, because I believe when he's properly trained, 80% of the girl child problem is solved. Ask me why. Now you're training your girl child to be a princess, to walk like a princess. You're teaching her sitting position. It takes a whole lot mentally to train a girl child, from the way she sits, to the way she talks, to how she eats. You just want to mold that princess in her, to how she dresses. You're being careful with the way she even has her bath. You're teaching her personal hygiene. Use the roll-on. Use this. Now, for men, for the boys, it's more like you're being careless, because you feel like at the end of the day, the woman is going to do most of that when they get married. So it's more difficult, and then you're protecting her, which is more important, from the society that want to take advantage of her.
You're right.
Due to her physical being. So now you're teaching her everything physically and mentally, and you're teaching her to stand for herself, to defend herself, to face the society. So it's more difficult. When you're training the girl child, it takes a whole lot. She needs to be your best friend. You need to tell her everything. You need to talk to her about everything. You don't need to hide. So it's
Basically,
more difficult.
I feel the ladies is just with few words.
No.
Especially when it comes to character-wise, when it comes to behavior-wise, when it comes to... Because we pretty much understand what our mothers are going through. We understand with you guys. We want to manage with you guys. Now, the guys will not want to manage.
Do you know that's where the issue is? Because back then, our mothers were trained to manage. They were not given that voice to speak for themselves. Okay. Now you're training your girl child to have a voice. To have a voice in the society. You're training her. It wasn't back then when you say sit down and they sit. Yeah. Now you have to give them reasons why they need to be themselves. They need to explore. You teach them career-wise. You teach them why they are... You see, the society is a larger place where they are competing with. So you have to teach them to be strong enough to compete in that society. And who are they competing with? The people that, the male children that are not tortured this way. And that's why you see that you're teaching her how to sit and you're not bothered about the boy, how he sits. You're teaching her how to talk because you believe like it's, once she has that model in her, she will transfer it
to the guy, to the boy child. Wow.
And the boy child will definitely listen to her. And so when it comes to money,
yeah, that's the part.
Now the truth is, generations back didn't really have ladies that were materialistic, but in this present generation, unfortunately, it is the boys that have taught the ladies to be materialistic. Why would I say so? You're walking up to a lady and the first thing you're talking to her is how wealthy you are. You're not lying. You're not talking to her about the values you possess. You're not talking to her about your personality, but you're fronting wealth in her. So she's attracted to that wealth. You're meeting a lady for the first time. You're giving her the most expensive gift. And she's already feeling like, okay, fine. So this is what you're bringing. This is what I'm collecting. So a few people that have now decided,
what I want.
you know, that have now decided that, okay, let's not put money, let's work on ourselves. You're seeing them like, no, these ones don't have class.
So this is actually a problem right now.
It's a problem right now, and it has been enhanced by the male children.
You're right.
They throw it, and you know they throw it so disrespectfully, and the girl child has accepted it.
Yes, and the girl child becomes angry that she wants to make money,
and prove to you. That is why we are training them.
Well, we have situations whereby, sorry to cut you short, we have situations whereby the same monies, like you're saying, monies are being thrown disrespectfully to women. This is like one of the major reasons for toxic relationships. We have a lot of marriages that the women steady have black eyes, steady have punches, steady being treated unfairly, but there's money.
Why are we treating this topic? We are trying to raise a generation of girls that have value and identity. Your money is not my identity. I need to work to make money so that your money doesn't come as your money is not my identity. So I make my money, I have my money so that your money does not instigate me. Your money is just an added value to what I have.
Yes.
So because we grew up in a generation where go and marry so that you have the money. No, now we have ladies that are ready to spend on you because they have that money.
Let's go back to this question. But I think we're diverting. What is your question again?
He said, why?
He's saying that girls like money. Is it part of the upbringing?
So is it part of the upbringing?
Now, I wouldn't. No. I'm not going to say money is part of the upbringing, but what we teach is value. And yes, if a lady values herself, money would never be the first thing
that she will think about.
Thank
you so much. Thank you. Then men should stop throwing money to ladies.
Stop disrespecting the girls.
They will come for you.
But in all, we are trying to raise a generation of young girls that have identity, that have confidence, that understand their self-value and worth, that realize that in everything I'm doing it for the good of the society. So that's the kind of generation of ladies we are raising.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We had an amazing time. Thank you. And you look amazing.
Thank you.
Well, one day we'll tell Joy to bring her daughter. Very beautiful, melanin poppy young lady. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, it is time for us to go on a quick break. We'll be right back.